he went. He took off when I slammed up my brakes.
Bro, I just watched her get kidnapped from in front of my house.
Calling with your captor beside you in bed. The moment this victim's voice comes on, you can tell she's trying to keep her voice low, and the reason is harrowing.
By the Fourth Street Laundromat.
Her captor is lying right on the bed beside her, sleeping.
4th Street Laundromat. What's the problem? I've been abducted.
But you're at the laundromat?
No, I'm in the bedroom with them.
You don't know what color the house is?
No. Please hurry.
A confirmation of the danger she feels and the possibility of something worse happening to her. She's tied up, she can't go and hide in the bathroom for dispatch to get to her for fear that her captor will wake and realize what she's done. When she fears he's waking, the emergency call taker advises her to keep the phone down to avoid suspicion.
Oh, I woke him up.
You can shut the phone down.
Anxiety is crippling the lady and she keeps asking how much longer.
How much longer?
What?
How much longer?
Waiting for deliverance can be such a nerve-wracking experience, and this victim went through the throes of fears while she waited eagerly for salvation to come. When the police finally get to the house, she musters courage and heads to the door. Listen to her saying, "Hurry, hurry."
Hurry, hurry.
Fear lances through her voice, the whispers causing my skin to crawl with fear. The police finally managed to free her from the house while arresting her troubled-looking captor, who thankfully slept through the whole call. The moment a lady was kidnapped at gunpoint in Atlanta. What wouldn't you give to find out what happened in the exact moment before a tragic event? In this case, a tragic kidnapping for the young girl who was kidnapped by the man you see in the video. This happened right in the front yard of a southeast Atlanta hub. Her boyfriend made the 911 call and his first words were straight to the point.
There's somebody just left with my girlfriend.
His voice is laced with fear and panic, and you get to hear more of that fear come to the fore as he continues to speak to the emergency call taker.
Bro, I just watched her get kidnapped from in front of my house. What the?
He lets some swear words escape his lips as his voice continues to rise as his fear rises.
She had a gun pointed to her?
Yes, I watched it all through my window in my front yard. He had a gun to her, and he forced her into a car. He had on a security shirt.
The kidnapper had pointed a gun at the lady and forced her into a car, but here's the most terrifying part of the ordeal for this young man. The kidnapper had on a security shirt. Is he a security personnel or just someone who got his hand on a uniform? I'm certain this caller will be scarred for life with what he just witnessed from his bedroom window, and say what you will, watching someone you love in danger deals a much heavier blow to you than when you're the one in danger yourself. Hopefully he heals from the trauma. What about the kidnapped, you ask? That's a story for another day. The Good Samaritan 911 call, Burlington. The sound of a scared crying woman who just saw her life flash before her eyes is what you hear on this 911 call, but the good news is she was safe at the time this call was being made. The man in a black top is the kidnapper who had attempted to carry off the victim until he was startled by the eyewitness and took off, leaving the woman behind. Imagine if the eyewitness had not happened on the scene at the specific time. He jumped over a fence and taken off quickly. In the 911 audio, you can hear the caller say to the man on the other end,
I just saw some guy just trying to abduct a girl. I'm on the side of the road. She's got no shirt.
Where are you? Where are you?
I'm right by Archer Hotel on the side road.
The victim's voice could be heard as she weeps from shock, fear, or a combination of both. The emergency call taker can be heard guiding the caller on what to say to reassure the scared woman. Tell her you're on the phone with the police and I have cops on the way are certainly the best words you'll want to hear in such a situation.
Tell her you're on the phone with the police and I have cars on the way.
Okay, thank you. I don't know where he went. He took off when I slammed up my brakes.
Stay on the line with me, okay? Stay
Okay.
on the line.
You're okay. They're coming.
It was 8:30 p.m. when this call was made to the cops and the woman in question maintains she doesn't know this dangerous man. It hits you how random this was and the fear multiplies threefold. Kidnapping in Adams County. If the last victim was lucky, this might be luckier, but before we get to that, let's talk about the panicky 911 calls that's both heartbreaking and painful.
I need help. One of my friends has picked me up and threw me in the back of their truck.
Okay, where are you going? Do you know where you're going?
I don't know.
The network was breaking, her line was breaking, and everything was just happening at the same time when she made that call.
Hey, honey, we're going to help, okay? We've got people coming from everywhere.
It's crazy that she's making this call from the back of that truck, and it's even scarier when you realize that the person doing this is someone she considers a friend. She doesn't know where he's taking her. You can hear tears in her voice and feel desperation as she seeks help from the police. Please help me, I don't want to die, she cried. Luckily enough, the authorities are quick to swing into action and are able to track the truck using the GPS on the victim's phone. The car was stopped and the victim was freed from the clutches of the wicked kidnapper, who I'm sure was thoroughly surprised at his own stupidity. Who kidnaps a person and leaves them with their phone? Criminals are pretty dumb. The Amanda Berry Miracle in Cleveland. Emergency call takers must hear a lot of things on the phone every day, but this or similar events will leave them with their mouths open in awe. The girl on the phone has been missing for 10 years until this moment when she resurfaces on the news once more, introducing herself quickly, breathlessly, her voice going a mile a second.
Help me, I'm Amanda Berry.
You need police, fire, or ambulance.
I need police.
Okay, and what's going on there?
I've been kidnapped and I've been missing for 10 years and I'm here, I'm free now.
Okay, and what's your address?
2207 Seymour Avenue.
She expected that the person on the other side of the phone will know who it is, whose abduction had been a popular event over 10 years before. I've been kidnapped and I've been missing for 10 years. She identifies her location, her voice breaking. The eagerness to regain total freedom can be heard in Amanda's voice as she spoke to 911. You can hear crying in the background, crying from two other women who had been disappeared from the same neighborhood years apart. While Amanda was taken on her way from work, Gina was taken while she was walking home from school a year later, and finally Michelle Knight had left a cousin's house not far from home when she too was taken. Years later, this call comes in and the terrified Amanda wants the cops to come around as quickly as possible. One suspects their kidnapper didn't go so far and could come in at any moment to resume their bondage and thwart the police the same way he had managed to do for 10 years. An 8-year-old calls 911 in San Diego. Bravery doesn't come bigger than this, and neither does the smarts, because what you see is a highly smart and brave 8-year-old girl reacting in the best way to ensure she and her younger brother are kept safe from the clutches of a kidnapper. Her father had left the kids in the car with the engine running. He just wanted to get something from a store, and the kidnapper saw an opportunity to carry out her devious plan. She simply jumped into the car and drove off.
This is where the lady was sitting. She looked at the car and she saw it running and she saw kids in it. Then she just got in it and drove away.
The little girl pounded on glass, but no one heard her. Then she remembered her father had given her a phone for emergencies.
They said 911, what's your emergency? And I said, me and my little brother got kidnapped. Then they said, where are you and what do you see?
She was able to describe what she could see, though she couldn't tell exactly where they were. She read the sign that says Mexico border before the kidnapper took the phone from her, but the little girl had done enough and the police were able to locate and liberate the kids from the kidnapper while placing the woman under arrest. Kidnapping in progress. Sometimes when you think something is wrong, then something is certainly wrong. This caller is having one of those moments where she appears to think something is going terribly wrong.
What is your emergency? Yes, I'm actually in a vehicle at this point in time. I'm going back to a civilian's home. I am actually from Idaho. I left with a friend of mine. Ended up finding out it was a very, 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 very bad mistake.
The 911 operator asked,
Do you feel like you're being kidnapped?
Yes.
Okay, where are you? Give me an address. A location, street, something.
Princess is like that.
She sounds a little confused and you wonder if she's under the influence of anything. But influence or not, she's in real danger. But here's where it becomes difficult. She's unable to describe where she is or how the police could locate and help her. She describes her location, mentions a gas station, and sounds very incoherent through the rest of it.
Brown Road.
Okay, you need to help me help you. I need an address. Where are you at?
No, he's taking me down the wrong side of the wrong road.
You get a feeling that the police may not be able to get to her, especially with the way she describes her location, and your fear for her increases. The curious case of the kidnapper who called 911. Some people aren't content with committing crimes. They want to go past that and gloat about what they've done in one of the most classic destructive moves ever. But in some cases, the reason for the call is even more dangerous than you can imagine. This kidnapper is being followed by the police, and to throw the cops off and make a clean escape with his victim, he calls 911 and makes a terrifying
I am a gentleman from Lakeland. I have kidnapped my ex-fiancée. If he continues to follow me.
After this chilling introduction in a very cold voice, he threatened to harm the young woman in his custody if the police continue to follow them. To make it very clear that he intends to follow through on his threat, he goes ahead to put the young lady on the phone.
I have been kidnapped and we are being followed.
She's also under no illusions that the dangerous man who kidnapped her won't follow through with this threat if the people following them do not pull back, and she tells the dispatchers the same. The victim's mother had been the first to call 911 when she noticed her daughter had gone missing. She called 911 after she found her daughter's purse and belongings near the employee's exit. She was held captive for 8 hours with her parents worried. I'm certain you'll be worried as you listen to this dangerous drama play out.
You're risking this woman's life. We're heading south on I-95. You've got 3 officers ganging up on me right now, and I have enough ammunition.
The kidnapper continued to call dispatchers, threatening harm and demanding to be left alone until he was stopped and the victim was set free. A tiny ray of light for a kidnapped victim in Des Moines. Sometimes when you're in extreme danger, your one hope is that your assailant makes one mistake that would allow you to break free of their shackles and reach for freedom once more.
We have an active assault, I guess, on the phone, and now it's pinging to an area of Prospect Park.
For the man in this video, his kidnappers made the mistake of leaving him with his mobile phone when they grabbed and threw him in the back of their trunk. You also have to give some much-deserved praise to GPS systems, because without that ability to track positions in real time, this man may not have been located so quickly. The man was thrown into the trunk of the car you see on screen, and from that tight place he called 911 and relayed his situation. Dispatch says they could hear signs of struggle and knew immediately that something very wrong was going on.
Actually, our dispatchers indicated that they could hear a beating taking place while they're on the phone with him.
They swung into action, reached out to the cell phone carrier, and were able to triangulate his location to within 300 meters of where the phone is located. When they found him, he was in a wooded area nearby, and this quick action helped preserve his life. Before we play the last clip, I'm sure you've been enjoying everything so far, so why don't you consider subscribing to the channel? We post 2 new scary videos every week, so subscribe and click that notification button so you can stay up to date with new releases. A scared woman frantically calls 911 in New Orleans. The frantic voice of this woman in this video will send chills up your spine. She's scared, distraught, and in full panic mode. Her voice comes up high and broken with her pain.
I'm in the red car.
I'm being kidnapped. Please somebody help me. When the call ends, the sound you hear, added to the woman's frantic mannerisms, tells you the phone might have been wrested off her hand while she's still on the phone, and it's confirmed when you hear her yell at someone, "Get off me." Her voice holds pain and fear, and if you don't know how much danger she's in already, you can feel it all now. She's in serious and imminent danger. A kidnapper can be heard issuing orders to her. Give me your car and give me your money. The 911 operators stay on the phone, asking what direction the car is going while the woman continues to call for help while trying to fight off her assailants.
Which direction are you going?
We can guess there's 2 people in the car with her in this kidnapping attempt, and it makes you think of her bravery, especially when you realize how much it must have taken to face up to the dangerous criminals intent on stealing your car and carrying you off. Here's the good news. She managed to escape her captors, and the police have so far made at least 1 arrest in relation to this assault and attempted kidnapping.